Hello, Facebook. I am so nervous, but also so excited because I have decided to challenge myself to make videos on my journey to rediscovering myself. I've been doing this for a while, inadvertently, but I'm at a point where I want to share the little nuggets of knowledge that I accumulate along the way, hoping that the people that need to see this video are going to see it in your own divine timing. And I don't mean to make it sound airy-fairy, but I mean, I think it's not a coincidence you're thinking of something or you're going through something and you happen to see a video pop up or you see someone comment on something. I think that those things are not coincidences, even if you want to say they are. So anyways, that's just a quick little blurb about what my intentions are here. So today I watched one of my favorite mentors, Kyle Cease. I actually went to his live event probably, I want to say, like 3 years ago now. 3 years ago. And it was something that up until that point, the type of personal development I had been doing was very action oriented. It was like the positive mindset, get it done, no excuses, destroy everyone on the way. No, I'm kidding. But that's how it kind of felt. It just kind of felt like this, like drag yourself to do something. And when I found Kyle, I had already kind of started meditating, doing headspace, things like that. Had some interesting insights, but it wasn't until I went to his event 3 years ago, that it was a 2-day seminar. And after our first day, he made us go home as homework and meditate for an hour on that Sunday before coming to day 2. And he had done so much work, like there's a lot, I mean, his whole archive is just amazing. If you want more Kyle Cease videos, I have a plethora to choose from. But he made us meditate, and then that 1 hour meditation, up until then I had only done 10 minutes at that point, like 10 minutes with guidance. And so that was the first time I sat down with my eyes closed, didn't fall asleep, and was intentional and just let all the thoughts come to me. And the awakening that I had, I held myself so freaking different from that day forward. Like the things that I realized about myself, it was just amazing. Anyways, I could go on and on about that, but that's not what I'm talking about. I watched his video and I posted it on my Facebook for his new book. It's called, what is it called? I don't know what it's called, but it has something to do with money, which I was kind of like, ew. But I listened to the hour and 40 minute interview, and it was just, oh my gosh, like it doesn't talk about money, you guys, okay? Like just go watch it. If you're watching this and you're hearing about the stuff that I'm about to say, go watch it, because you're going to take away so many nuggets if you're ready to hear them. If you are still living in your head and you're living in your people-pleasing mode, or you just think a lot of this stuff is stupid, it's not going to resonate. Like, you will just go in one out and out the other. Trust me, I've tried to force people to watch stuff that they weren't ready to hear. But it got me thinking how our biggest disappointments in our lives are actually, what did I call this video? Our biggest blessings? So what I'm taking from it is, while I watched it, I cried like 5 times. And anytime you cry about something, it's for a reason. It's you releasing something that you've been burying deep down in yourself. And that's why a lot of people are afraid of meditation. That's why a lot of people stray away from being alone with their own thoughts, because it's freaking uncomfortable. Very, very, very uncomfortable. And you start to realize a lot of things about yourself, and especially this is very true when you're faced with a situation that you feel like you're the victim, like you've been slighted, like life isn't fair. Why is this happening to you? Why do all these other people get to have this and I don't? Like, why am I dealing with this disappointment? Specifically for me, it was the loss of our baby, me and my ex-husband, and then ultimately my ex-husband having an affair and leaving me. And I felt like I was so freaking pissed. I was so mad for so long and just in denial of what was. I just couldn't believe that, like, I felt like I had lived a pretty good life, and I didn't understand why life was just, like, beating me down with one thing after another. And I actually had it happen recently because I had to think about my old job that I quit 2 months ago. Yeah, almost 2 months ago, and had to come move back in with my parents. And I say that, like, I say it in that type of wording because it felt like a punishment. It felt like, gosh, this isn't fair. Like, I tried my best at this job. I tried to be the best wife that I could be. I was healthy for all my life, and then I, like, let go for like a year or two. And so I couldn't have all these things that I watch other people around me have, and I'm under the illusion that I'm not complete without those things happening for me. Having a child, having a good marriage, having a stability with my job and my income. Like, I feel like that makes me unworthy. And so the thing that I've been kind of battling back and forth, some days better than others, just like any type of journey. Some days are good, some days are bad. But ultimately, what I keep trying to put out, when I talk about it or when I think about it, I let myself have those uncomfortable feelings, no doubt. But what I try to do is look at it from a different lens, because the lens that everyone wants you to look at something is usually like, I've been slighted, I'm a victim. You look for validation from everybody. I could find all the validation all day long that the stuff that's gone on in my life in the last year is completely not my fault and is completely, like, I'm justified to feel the way that I do. But for me, if I stay living in that small space of scarcity and lack and don't face my own darkness, like the yin and the yang. I was talking to Taylor today, and he sent me a picture of the yin and the yang, and I freaking love that symbol because that's the unity, that's balance in life. It's the light and it's the dark, and you can't have one without the other. And so if you try to just positivity your way through the shittiest situations, you are gonna have to deal with your darkness eventually. But the beautiful thing is that it's not bad. Like, we always think dark is bad, depression's bad, sad is bad. It's not. It just is. Feelings are just feelings, and you're the space that has those feelings. And we have all these things that happen to us leading up to our big disappointments in our life. And when these disappointments happen, whatever the case may be, right? A breakup, divorce, loss of a job, someone passing away, what else could happen? Like, you lose your car, like whatever a disappointment is. It doesn't have to be the most severe disappointment, but it makes you feel some type of way, gets you in your feelings. And you know what people do when they get in their feelings? They go, fuck this, and they run to addictions. And I am no better than anybody else because I've tried quitting smoking like 50,000 times in the last like 3 months. So I'm still working through my shit. Like, I understand, I fully embrace this human experience where I still have my own shit I'm dealing with. But self-awareness is the key to unlocking a lot of this gratitude. Like, when you live in a place of gratitude, there is no, what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe let me just try to explain it. It doesn't become this thing that is your Achilles heel. It's not this thing that is your weakness. It's your gratitude for, gosh, like, there are things that I just really can't see from the level of my perception, from my ego, from where I stand in this moment, right? Like, think about the way you looked at the world 10 years ago, and really think about your viewpoint now. Completely two different viewpoints. And so if you can, a situation happens, and it just happens. It has no meaning attached to it. Okay? People leave people all the time. People get pregnant and get unpregnant all the time. People leave their jobs and leave where they were living and go move back in with their parents or whatever the fucking case may be, right? These things happen, but we attach our meaning to it because we have a lot of our self-worth tied up into these old stories that we've written about ourselves. And we're not worthy of love, or we're not worthy of acceptance from other people, and also that whole conundrum of looking for other people for your validation. You and I are both enough without the accolades, without the money, without the fancy things, without anything. At the end of the day, we are all enough. And that's why it freaks people out to sit alone with themselves, because they think they have to be doing something or consuming something, or like and it's funny because I find myself in this little bubble right now too, where I've worked so hard all of my freaking life, and I'm just in this little weird vortex between the transition of like, where do I want to go in this next portion of my life, and what speaks to me and what inspires me. And at the end of it, like, that's kind of something I need to address, and why I'm talking about it right now is, how the fuck am I going to make money? Like, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to be okay on my own? Like, am I going to live on Skid Row? These are all natural fears. And it's because we fear that if we don't have this outside perception of having our shit together, we're going to be judged, and we're going to be looked at weak. And, people that are in their feelings are bad, and you need to be logical and strategic, and it's that masculine energy that we all take on. But I challenge all of us, and when I say all of us, I mean me. I'm just sharing my experience. I don't act like I have all the answers, but what I have found is changing my viewpoints on these disappointments as basically intervention from forces outside of myself that are like, hey, you said all of these things in private in your own head, and now they're happening. We have put it, so you have to deal with it head on. You've been backed into the corner. You've been backed into the corner, and now you get a mirror held up to you, and you must face your fucking darkness. All the stuff you didn't want to deal with, all the stuff, like, because you try to feel like and it's self-sabotage in some ways too, because when life is going good and you're like overcoming these things, sometimes it's not even really overcoming anything. You're just making a problem and pretending to get over it instead of actually elevating yourself to the next level. So looking at our disappointments as blessings allows us to, number one, have acceptance of it, right? Like, so that you can deal with it, because part of the grief journey, which is through anything, whether it's a physical death of somebody, or a death of a relationship, a death of a job, a death of an identity that you held for yourself, maybe the way you thought people perceived you, it's acceptance. You have to accept what has happened. You cannot argue with what is. You can be mad all day that this person did this to you, and this happened to me because of this, and I didn't have this, and blah, 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 blah. You could go and you could focus on it. But the moment that you start accepting it is when you really are able to feel it. And when you feel it, that's why I know, like, no disrespect to my ex-husband, but I'm feeling this. I am feeling my identity as a wife leave me. I'm feeling the identity as this old little girl who was always second best to everybody start to come to the forefront, and I'm just learning to see it and let it be seen, so that I can go to who I really actually am at the core being of everything that, like, is. So I'm sorry this doesn't sound very strategical, but this is a lot of it. You can't use a fucking strategy. Like, you can't use a strategy for life and everything. Like, it's a lot of inner knowing and feeling and being uncomfortable and crying. Like, crying is so good for the soul, because it's letting that part of you that wasn't seen as a younger you. Like, anytime I have these fears that pop up, I just imagine younger Jen, and just let it be there, and like, don't deny it, and don't suppress it, and don't try to distract. Just let it be. And so the first thing, like I said, is acceptance, and then you have a foundation to go on. And where you go from there is up to you, but looking and changing the lens as this is something that was given to you as a gift and not as a punishment will help you see your what you've been brought into this physical experience for. What else was I going to say? I was going to say something else. I lost it. Anyways, so that's just one of my revelations. So I'm challenging myself, like I said, for the next 90 days to meditate again and listen to things that inspire me and look deep within myself, because this is the journey to healing. And it never has to be public. I'm just someone that, like, I've always been pretty vocal with my experiences, because I feel like a lot of us keep it deep down inside. Because I can tell you, when I was going through the shit like 10 months ago, I was desperately looking all over the internet for other people who didn't have their shit together. And I'm here to tell you, you heard it here first, live from Palmdale, California. It is better to lose your shit than it is to have your shit together. The illusion of someone having their shit together, they really don't. They really don't. The more people have to prove that they have their shit together, the less that they really feel secure with themselves. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Anyways, mwah, love you guys. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.